Yesterday we were just talking about the acceleration. We were done with that velocity, uniform, average, non-uniform velocities. Okay. Acceleration. Hussein, do you know how to ride a bicycle? All right. If you have a problem with your mind, it's okay. So if you can drive a bike or a car, just raise your hand. Okay, good, very good. So in that bike we have like one side is the accelerator. So when we press that accelerator after taking the gear and doing all that, what happens? Speed increases. Yes. So acceleration means change in speed. Okay? Change in speed. Now, change means it can increase, it can decrease. So whenever there is increase, speed, that is acceleration. Okay? And when there is decrease in speed, deceleration. Yeah. Hussein, how we can decrease the speed of the fast moving bike or car? By applying the brakes. Okay, good. So when we apply the brakes, the fast moving object, it slows down. Again, its speed is changing, and this time it is decreasing. So when we have change in speed and the speed is decreasing, then we can't say it is acceleration. No, it is deceleration. Okay, deceleration or negative acceleration or retardation. We need to use this one, deceleration. That means negative of an acceleration. That means retardation. Okay? So, what is acceleration? Hussain, if you remember, yesterday we talked about rate. And we talked about change. Okay? So what is rate?
Change minus
Rate means divided by time. That is over t. Okay? Change
minus difference.
Change means difference. We will subtract the initial from the final, and v minus u, and it is denoted by delta. Okay. Acceleration is, what is acceleration? Its definition or statement is rate of change, velocity is called acceleration. Shabash. Just look at this statement carefully. You will find the two words here. Okay? The rate of change of velocity is called acceleration. That means acceleration is equal to what? Rate means divided by time. Oh, what is that thing if we have to divide?
Delta.
Change of velocity. Change of velocity. Okay? So acceleration A small a. We denote acceleration with small a is delta V over T. Delta V means final velocity minus initial velocity. V is final velocity. And U is initial. Initial velocity. Okay? So this is statement. 2 is formula, 3 is symbol, denoted by A. ठीक हो गया? Oh, I'm just loading the extra thing so that you may not get confused. This is it, yeah. All right. What is the unit for acceleration? How we can determine? We don't know the unit of acceleration? No issues. We can determine how acceleration is equals to change in velocity over time. What is the unit for change in velocity? What is the unit of velocity? You know, velocity is measured in
meters.
This is Alvina?
Yes, sir.
All right. I can't see your name on the screen. I just heard your voice, that's why. So, unit of velocity, time, speed. चलेंगे बताएं. Tell me. Okay, time. Seconds. Denoted by capital S or small s?
Small s.
Small s. Speed.
Meter per second.
Meters per second. Okay. What is the unit for velocity then? Speed and velocity are same except for the change in direction. Velocity is with the direction. Okay. But the units, they are same. Meters per second, meters per second. So over here, I mean, if age, my age or your age, we measure it in years, then the change in age will also be in years. So delta V is change in velocity. Okay? It's important. Hello?
क्या टाइम
यार this is जल्दी दे कनेक्ट हो
हाँ
जल्दी दे यार
तो साथ ही मिल गया
यार दे हाँ दे रही है तू दे इधर से जा मैं नहीं हाँ
पता नहीं
साइड बहुत साइड
Zero. So we'll have, instead of, let's write the units over here in this relationship. We'll get meters per second over seconds. Now this is a double division. So acceleration will be meters per second divided by, I'm just making it simple so that you can understand. Meters per second means meters over seconds divided by this line divided by seconds. Now, when we will change the sign of into multiplication, then this will be inverted. It will become S over A. कुछ गड़बड़ होगी. It is not 1, it is over 1. So just S over 1. कनेक्शन भी नहीं कर रहे हो टीचर की, गड़बड़ कराओ तुम लोग सब करते जा रहे हो. Yes. My dears, please correct me if I am wrong anywhere. Okay? One thing. So that means meters per second square. So if we don't know the unit of that particular quantity, but we know the expression or formula, so by placing the units there, we can derive the unit. You remember fundamental and derived quantities? So acceleration is a derived. So we can derive its unit by placing the units of base quantities over there. So acceleration measured in meters per second square. This is the unit for it. Number 3. 1, 2, 3. Think of it. Its statement, its formula, its unit. So yesterday we talked about the uniform velocity, right? So acceleration is change of velocity with time. Let's suppose you are driving a car, you have just started it. When the car was at rest, you just started it from rest. What is its speed and what is its initial speed when it is at rest? Speed or velocity? 0 meters per second. So initial velocity is denoted by u. That is 0. After some time, you just press the accelerator and gain the speed. So let's suppose after 3 seconds, the car attained the speed of 40 meters per second. Can you find the acceleration produced in it? Can you use this thing or this thing? Yeah, decimals, it can be decimals. So what is the formula for acceleration? Delta V over T. and delta V is
for V minus 0.
V minus U over T. You can use this relationship to find out the acceleration. Please do it.
13.3.
Somebody is telling me 13.3. G. People online? Alvina Hussain?
Yes, sir.
What is your answer? Did you calculate acceleration? Yes or no?
Sir, 40 divided by 3 होगा ना फिर? तो 13.3.
Exactly. 40 divided by 3. Shabash.
13.3, yes.
Excellent. Good. साथ करते जाना. ठीक है? We have to do it by ourselves. Hussain, you got it? Just raise the hand over there. Go in the options. You will find raise the hand. Just click it. Good boy. All right. So this was all about acceleration. So we are done with distance, displacement, speed, velocity, acceleration. Any questions about them? Okay, now we are going into little further details.
Sir?
जी बेटा.
सर वो जो आप 345 से लेकर 430 की जो क्लास ले रहे हैं वो O3 वालों के लिए भी है?
जी बेटा. You want to join that?
क्लास है ये भी? Yes.
If you want to, you can join that. Okay? वो भी O3 के लिए, वो भी एग्जाम प्रिपरेशन और वो सारा कुछ है उसके अंदर. वो थोड़ा सा स्पीड से, इससे भी जरा स्पीड से जा रहे हैं. All right?
Okay.
So if you want to join that, tell me.
सर तो फिर कोई फर्क पड़ेगा अगर मैं ज्वाइन ना करूं क्योंकि मैं इंग्लिश को भी फिर साथ चला रही हूं उसके साथ. 345 से लेकर 430.
We have this alternate timings. ठीक है?
Okay.
हाँ तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. All right, क्या बात हो रही थी? Details की बात. We are now depending to move further details. Now before we just go into the details, I want to confirm one thing. Do you know how to plot a graph? There are a few things which we need to consider while we are plotting a graph. In mathematics, chemistry, physics, and sciences, you might have made many graphs. They are usually between two axes. Which is this axis? What do we call it?
X-axis.
X-axis or horizontal axis, all right? And this one?
Y-axis.
Y-axis. Shabash.
Vertical.
Vertical, horizontal axis. This is the origin, 0 point, starting. Now, these two axes, they actually represent two quantities. Okay? Let's suppose I have a spring which is just hung with this at this point, and we are placing some weight on it over here. This is the pen, this is the pointer, and this is the ruler. Let's suppose this is 0. Okay, and so on. So we are placing the load or weight in it in this pen, and this pointer is showing extension. Okay, more weight, it will extend more, right? So what if I have to plot the graph between these two quantities, weight and extension?
सर वेट एक्सेप्ट पर एक्सटेंशन बाय एक्सेस पर
Now weight. On which axis do I have to take weight? All of you. Okay. Weight on x-axis. And extension on y-axis. Ji Armina and Hussain, do you think the same?
यस सर, क्योंकि जैसे जैसे वेट बढ़ती जाएगी उसी तरह एक्सटेंशन भी बढ़ता जाएगा, तो वेट शुड बी एक्सिस एंड एक्सटेंशन शुड बी वाई एक्सिस.
Okay. My next question is why?
सर जो अभी है इंडिपेंडेंट वो ये जो क्वांटिटी से एक्सेस करती है.
You are saying which quantity?
इंडिपेंडेंट
Independent quantity. What is that independent quantity?
सर तो जी सर.
Very good. Excellent. Almina, do you know this independent quantity? Ji. Hussain or Almina, do you know independent and dependent quantities? Yes or no? No. All right. Okay. No issues. Beta, the thing is, whenever we are making the graph which is between the two quantities, like here in this case we have weight and extension, it is not like you can consider any one of them on x-axis and the other on the y-axis. No. We have a criteria, a merit, a standard for that. Okay? So on x-axis, we always use independent quantities. And on y-axis, we have dependent quantities. Now, what are independent quantities? Out of these two, we are controlling one. We are controlling one of them. And the other is depending upon that one. Are we controlling extension or weight? We are controlling weight. Now, it is our will to put like 3 newtons or 10 newtons or 20 newtons. So we are controlling this much, the weight. We are not controlling extension. Extension is dependent on weight. So the dependent one will come on the y-axis, and weight which is controlled by us is considered as independent quantity that will go on x-axis. ठीक हो गया बेटा? शाबाश, good. All right. So I'm sure you got the good idea of dependent and independent quantities.
Yes, sir.
Shabash. Now, my question is, we have to make the graph of this car, which is, I'm not making the car because I just make a very weird sort of diagram. Let's suppose we have 2 points A and B. So the car is going to start from this point and will move in this direction to reach B, right? The car was at rest. It just started from rest. Okay? So whenever anything starts from rest, the initial velocity is 0. Excellent. And supposedly if any car starts with certain velocity or it is already moving and brakes are applied and it stopped, then what is the final velocity? 0. Okay? So be careful. So whenever the car is at rest, that means 0 velocity. So initially it started from rest. So u is 0. And after time, at this point, t1, t2, t3, t4. After time t1, velocity is, yani v1 is, let's suppose 4 meters per second. T1 is 2 seconds. T2 is 4 seconds. 6, 8 seconds. And velocity v1, v2 is 10 meters. T3, v3 is 16 meters per second. And T4 means v4, 20 meters per second. Now these are certain values. Any values. So u was 0, so t was also 0 at this time. Now I have to plot a graph between time and velocity. Which one of them is independent? Why not? What about velocity? That is depending upon time. Can we stop time? It is independent. Nobody can stop that. Yes, we have arranged the intervals for time. T1 is seconds, 2 seconds, T2, 4 seconds, and so on. So, if we just generalize, time is always independent. Okay? So, we will consider time on x-axis or on y-axis. So how do we label that? We just write the complete. We never write khali t. No. Time slash means doesn't mean divided by. No. In graph, this slash means we measure time in seconds. Yes. After slash, you have to write the unit. In the same way, on this side, I will write. Okay. Excellent. Slash meter per second. After slash, I'm not going to write the symbol for it. I'm going to write the unit for it. Remember, this is the standard way of plotting the graph. Now, you have to mark the intervals. Intervals for time and for velocity. If we just look at here, time 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yes, so we can simply make interval of 2 seconds. So this can be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Do I have to write seconds here with them?
No.
No, because it is already given. So no need to write anything with these numbers. And then for velocity, it's 0, 4, 10, 16, 20. So what will be the suitable interval for that? I mean, can I take 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 for velocity? Or 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? Or 5, 10, 15, 20?
You said 5.
5, good. 5, 10, 15, 20. Now, these are fixed, like first one, I mean, the intervals should be uniform. We cannot write like for velocity as 4, 10, 16 or 20 over here. No, the intervals which you are going to consider here should be even. Take this, similar. So the gap between each interval should be the same. I'm sure you know these basic things. Excellent. Now, how we can plot it? I'm just making the, I'm just underlining the time so that you can identify 4 seconds. Where is T3? 6 seconds. And T4, 8 seconds. Okay? So when time is 0, velocity is 0. Where are we going to put the mark?
0.
At 0, origin. Please help me, okay? At 2 seconds, velocity is 4. 2, 4 5 से जरा सा नीचे all right जी 4 पे 10 4 this कितने 10 then 6 से
16 15 से
all right 16 somewhere here okay and then lastly at 8
20 straight
20 all right ठीक हो गया जी कनेक्ट भी कर लें इसको ओके आई एम जस्ट डूइंग इट विद दिस all right this is one way of doing the things at these points you can write the coordinates as well ठीक है but this is the standard form there is no need to make these lines I just made them for my own convenience even if you just make them there is no harm okay but on your graph paper we have the printed lines so that you can easily make the entire thing so this curve although it is a straight line but in terms of graph we call it a curve so this line or curve represents the relationship between velocity and time okay so is it a straight one no all right so you got it how to plot the graph I'm just taking another example and this time I am not writing the coordinates I'm simply making the curve oh sorry I just rubbed it any questions Alvina Hussain
No, sir.
all right beta let's suppose for any given set of numbers we just got this curve okay yeah good this is stage A this is B and this is C and this is exactly at 8 seconds अब ठीक है ओके 8 and 20 all right can you read this graph all right good great what's happening at the stage A uniform acceleration हो रही है all right G what was the initial velocity of this moving object this car let's say what is the initial velocity
0
it started from 0 Alvina are you getting that shabash okay what's happening at B
The constant is the velocity constant.
what is uniform velocity acceleration time speed what
Velocity.
Just be
all right so it is moving now with the uniform
Velocity.
what's happening in the stage C again acceleration all right can we compare the accelerations of stage A and C so when we compare what do you figure out where the acceleration is more at A or at C some of you are saying C acceleration is maximum excellent at B acceleration is 0 and at A acceleration is there yeah acceleration is produced ठीक है?
जी सर।
All right. Can you tell me about the distance? Can we determine the distance out of this velocity time now?
नहीं सर।
As you have determined the acceleration, can we? How?
सर वेलोसिटी ओवर टाइम होगा फिर।
Velocity over time होएगा। Okay, शाबाश, good. Velocity over time is equals to distance. ये कोई नया फॉर्मूला है ना? This is a new one for me also.
नो सर गलत हो गया, वो वेलोसिटी मल्टीप्लाई बाय टाइम होगा।
Sam is unable to understand Urdu, so it's better to speak a little English so that everybody is on board. All right? जी. Slightly down. Can you adjust it? Can you tell me the right formula for velocity and the right relationship between velocity, distance, and time? Excellent. Displacement over time. So displacement will remain on this side. Time will multiply with
velocity.
Yes. So we'll have displacement is equals to velocity into time. So look at the curve. Velocity multiplied by time. So if we multiply two sides of a rectangle, if this is a rectangle, if I multiply this side with this side, what do we call? Area or volume? If I have a rectangle, it's length and breadth. Area will be length into breadth. Shabash. So if we calculate the area under the curve, that will be actually the distance or displacement. Okay? I'm just holding you here. I'm not going to calculate that area or the slope of this graph. We will do it on Monday. I'm just holding you here because that is the calculations and I need a little more time so that I can make people understand all this. Okay? So I'm just holding you here. Tomorrow we are going to have a very short, brief test. And that test will be provided you online. Okay? In the group that will be sent. I will send it in the group. So if you are not registered in the group, please get yourself registered so that you receive all the information. Okay? Number one. Number two, you will solve that test. Either you can do it online or take the prints and then solve it over there and then take the pictures or scan it and send it back in the group. I'm sure you are not going to cheat. The timings will be the moment you will receive the test. After that, you will have 2 hours to complete that. Okay? So our class usually starts at 6. So tomorrow at 6, you are going to receive the test, and by 8 o'clock, after 2 hours, you have to submit it to me. Okay? Or in the group. Mix however. Few MCQs and few short questions, both mix up. Alright? Okay? Alright. Any questions up till now? We are going to calculate this area and the slope of the line later on Monday. Okay? Sure. Alright. Thank you very much.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Allah Hafiz, beta.